A brisk morning run really gets the heart pumping, doesn't it?
It does. And this breakfast is the perfect reward.
A healthy life is a happy life.
Yikes.
Is it true that cooking daikon destroys?
That's a myth, or is all the enzymes? Many remain, especially if lightly cooked.
So we still get the benefits.
What if one of the most powerful foods for healthy aging wasn't hidden in a fancy supplement, wasn't discovered in a high-tech laboratory, and didn't cost hundreds of dollars a month? What if it was a simple white vegetable that millions of Japanese people have quietly eaten for generations? A vegetable so common in Japan that many families eat it almost every single day. Yet most Americans walk right past it in grocery stores without giving it a second glance. And here's where things get interesting. Japan consistently ranks among the healthiest and longest living populations on Earth. People routinely live into their 90s. Many remain active, independent, and mentally sharp far longer than expected. Of course, there isn't one magical food responsible for that. But researchers and nutrition experts have become increasingly interested in a humble ingredient that appears again and again in traditional Japanese meals. A vegetable known alayhi salam, daikon. Today, we're diving deep into the surprising science, fascinating history, hidden health benefits, and little-known secrets behind this extraordinary root vegetable. And by the end of this video, you may never look at your grocery list the same way again.
Because one of the easiest upgrades to your health could be hiding in plain sight. Imagine walking into a traditional Japanese home. Dinner is being prepared. Soup is simmering gently. Fish is being grilled. Vegetables are being sliced. And sitting quietly on the cutting board, a long white Daikon radish. For centuries, daikon has been one of Japan's most beloved foods. It's affordable, versatile, refreshing, and deeply woven into everyday life. Unlike trendy superfoods that come and go, daikon has stood the test of time. Generation after generation continues to eat it, not because of marketing, not because influencers told them to,
but because people genuinely value what it brings to their meals and their health. And what makes daikon so fascinating isn't just what's inside it. It's how its benefits seem to touch nearly every system of the body, from digestion to heart health, to immune function, to healthy aging. But before we uncover those benefits, let's travel back in time. Because daikon's story begins thousands of years ago. The word daikon literally means big root in Japanese, and it's easy to see why. Some varieties can grow incredibly large. Historians believe daikon originally spread through Asia thousands of years ago before becoming deeply established in Japanese agriculture. Over time, it became far more than food. It became culture. Families passed down recipes. Farmers carefully cultivated different varieties. Regional traditions emerged, and daikon eventually became a staple found in soups, pickles, salads, stews, and countless home-cooked meals. What makes this remarkable is that long before nutrition labels existed, long before scientists could measure antioxidants, people already believed daikon supported wellness. They noticed how it made meals feel lighter, how it paired beautifully with rich foods, how it seemed to support digestion. Sometimes traditional wisdom notices something long before modern science catches up. And that's where our story becomes even more fascinating. Because today, researchers are discovering that many of those old observations may have had real biological explanations. And the first benefit might surprise you. Let's start with the benefit that made daikon famous in Japan: digestion. Have you ever finished a heavy meal and felt sluggish, bloated, uncomfortable? You're not alone. Many people struggle with digestive discomfort without realizing that food choices can make a significant difference. Daikon contains natural compounds and enzymes that have traditionally been associated with helping the body process meals more efficiently. That's one reason it is often served alongside richer foods.
Many Japanese dishes intentionally combine heavier ingredients with daikon. It's a culinary partnership that has existed for generations. And perhaps that's not an accident. Some nutrition experts believe daikon's fiber content also contributes to digestive health by helping maintain regularity and supporting a healthier gut environment. And alayhi salam, we continue through this video. You'll discover why a healthier gut may influence much more than digestion alone, including something that affects nearly every aspect of your health, your immune system. Most people think of immunity only when they get sick, but your immune system works every second of every day. It's constantly monitoring, protecting, defending, and supporting your overall health. Daikon contains vitamin C and other beneficial plant compounds that may help support normal immune function. What's fascinating is that many traditional cultures instinctively increased their intake of nutrient-rich vegetables during colder seasons, and daikon often played a role. But immunity isn't only about avoiding illness, it's also about resilience, the ability of the body to respond effectively to challenges. And that brings us to another remarkable benefit. One connected to aging itself. What if aging isn't just about getting older? What if part of the story involves how well our bodies handle daily wear and tear? Every day, our cells face stress. From pollution, poor sleep, processed foods, and simply living life. Daikon contains antioxidants that help the body manage oxidative stress. Think of antioxidants as part of your body's maintenance crew. They help keep things running more smoothly. No food can stop aging, but some foods may help support healthier aging. And that distinction matters. The goal isn't living forever. The goal is maintaining energy, mobility, independence, and quality of life. And in Japan, that philosophy is deeply valued. But wait until you hear what daikon may do for the heart. Because this next benefit affects millions of Americans. Let's clear up a few misconceptions. Myth number 1. Daikon is just a larger version of a regular radish. Not exactly. Its nutritional profile, flavor, texture, and culinary uses are quite different. Myth number 2. Healthy foods have to taste boring. Many people are surprised by how versatile daikon can be. It can be eaten raw, cooked, roasted, added to soups, fermented, or grated. Myth number 3. More is always better. Not true. Like most foods, balance matters. Consistency beats excess.
And perhaps the biggest mistake people make: ignoring variety. The healthiest diets aren't built around one miracle food. They're built around patterns. And daikon shines when it's part of an overall healthy lifestyle.
Meet Michael, a 52-year-old office worker who realized most of his meals came from convenience foods. After gradually incorporating more vegetables, including daikon, into homemade meals, he reported feeling lighter and more satisfied after eating. Then there's Susan, a busy mother of 2 who wanted simple ways to improve family nutrition. She discovered daikon through Japanese recipes and appreciated how easy it was to add to soups and salads. And finally, Robert, recently retired, looking for ways to support healthy aging. He began exploring traditional longevity diets around the world. One pattern kept appearing: simple whole foods, eaten consistently, for years, not weeks. Not months, years. And that's the lesson many of us overlook. Health is rarely built overnight. It's built one meal at a time. Want to try daikon? Here are simple ways to start. Add shredded daikon to salads. Slice it into soups. Roast it with olive oil and herbs. Add it to stir-fries. Pair it with fish.
Combine it with other colorful vegetables. And remember, you don't need to overhaul your life tomorrow. Small, consistent changes often produce the biggest long-term results. One healthy choice, repeated many times, can transform your future. The story of Daikon isn't really about a vegetable, it's about a philosophy.
A reminder that extraordinary health often comes from ordinary habits. The world's healthiest populations don't necessarily rely on miracle cures. They rely on consistency, simple foods, daily choices, and respect for the body they've been given. Maybe that's why Daikon has remained part of Japanese life for generations. Not because it's flashy, not because it's trendy, but because sometimes the simplest foods quietly offer the greatest value. So the next time you walk through a grocery store and see this humble white root sitting on the shelf, remember, you're looking at more than a vegetable.
You're looking at a small piece of a longevity tradition that has stood the test of time. And perhaps a simple step toward a healthier future. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments. Have you ever tried Daikon before? And if not, would you add it to your diet after learning these surprising benefits? Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and take good care of yourself.
Imagine your heart working tirelessly every second of your life, while you're sleeping, while you're working, even while you're watching this video. Your heart never takes a vacation. And yet, many people don't think much about heart health until a problem appears. That's why nutrition experts often emphasize something simple but powerful. The foods you eat every day matter. Not once a month, not occasionally, every day. Daikon is naturally low in calories and contains fiber along with beneficial plant compounds that support an overall heart-healthy eating pattern.
One reason traditional Japanese diets have attracted worldwide attention is that they tend to emphasize vegetables, seafood, and minimally processed foods. Daikon fits perfectly into that picture. Its fiber may help support healthy cholesterol levels already within a normal range as part of a balanced diet. And because it's often used in place of heavier side dishes, it can help create meals that feel satisfying without being overly rich. Think about that for a moment. A simple vegetable helping people enjoy meals while supporting healthier choices. That's not a miracle, that's a smart habit. And when smart habits are repeated for decades,
The results can be extraordinary. But the heart isn't the only system that benefits. Because closely connected to heart health is something millions of Americans worry about every year: blood pressure. And what you're about to hear might explain why traditional Japanese eating patterns continue to fascinate researchers. High blood pressure has often been called the silent problem. You can feel perfectly fine. Everything seems normal, and yet changes may already be happening inside the body. That's why many health professionals encourage a lifestyle approach long before problems arise. And food plays a major role.
Daikon contains potassium, a mineral that helps support normal fluid balance and healthy cardiovascular function. Now, does that mean Daikon alone will solve blood pressure issues? Of course not. No single food can do that. But when combined with a healthy lifestyle, vegetables rich in important nutrients can become powerful allies. What makes Japanese eating habits so interesting is that many meals naturally include multiple nutrient-rich foods working together. Not one superstar ingredient, an entire team. Vegetables, fish, fermented foods, green tea, sea vegetables, and yes, Daikon. It's a reminder that health often comes from synergy, small things working together.
And speaking of small things, there's another reason many people begin eating more Daikon. They notice it helps them feel satisfied without lewing up on excess calories. Which brings us to one of the most talked about topics in modern health: weight management.
What if one of the biggest secrets to maintaining a healthy weight isn't eating less, but eating smarter. For many people, the challenge isn't hunger, it's feeling satisfied. You've probably experienced it. You eat a meal, an hour later, you're searching the pantry again. But foods rich in water and fiber often create a different experience. They add volume to meals, they help people feel fuller, and they can support better eating habits over time. Daikon is nearly 95% water. Think about that. You're getting texture, crunch, and satisfaction without excessive calories. That's one reason it appears so often in traditional Japanese cuisine. It helps create balance.
A bowl of soup becomes more filling. A salad becomes more satisfying. A meal feels complete. And when healthy choices feel enjoyable, they're easier to maintain. That's important, because the best diet isn't the one that works for 2 weeks. It's the one you can follow for years. But weight management isn't only about appearance. It's also deeply connected to another major health concern: blood sugar. And what scientists are learning about vegetables like daikon may surprise you. Take a moment and think about how you feel after different meals. Sometimes you're energized, focused, alert. Other times, you feel sleepy, foggy, and ready for a nap.
One reason may be how quickly certain foods affect blood sugar. Foods high in refined sugars and processed carbohydrates can create dramatic spikes and crashes. Whole vegetables often have a very different effect. Daikon contains fiber and has a relatively low calorie density, making it a smart addition to balanced meals. Many nutrition professionals encourage building meals around vegetables precisely because they help slow things down. And slowing things down can be a good thing. A slower release of energy. A steadier feeling throughout the day. Less of that roller coaster effect.
It's one of the reasons traditional diets built around whole foods continue to attract attention worldwide. But here's something fascinating. Stable energy doesn't only affect the body, it affects the brain. And that's where our next discovery begins.
What does healthy aging really mean? For many people, it isn't just about physical strength. It's about staying mentally sharp, remembering names, learning new skills, enjoying conversations, remaining independent. The brain is one of the most energy-demanding organs in the human body, and like every other part of the body, it benefits from good nutrition. Researchers continue exploring how antioxidant-rich foods may help support long-term brain health. Daikon contains plant compounds that contribute to its nutritional profile and overall value as part of a vegetable-rich diet. Now imagine this: a person in their 70s still learning new hobbies, still traveling,
Still reading books. Still curious about life. That kind of longevity isn't only about adding years to life. It's about adding life to years. And speaking of energy, what if one of the reasons Japanese people often appear so active later in life has something to do with the foods they consistently eat? Let's explore that next. Most people look for energy in a can, a bottle, or a cup of coffee. And while caffeine certainly has its place, true vitality usually comes from something deeper: nutrition, movement, sleep, and consistency. Daikon won't give you a sudden energy rush, and that's actually a good thing, because sustainable energy is different.
It's the kind that helps you feel steady throughout the day. Not wired, not crashing, just balanced. Many traditional cultures focused on foods that nourished rather than stimulating, foods that supported the body instead of forcing it, and Daikon fits beautifully into that philosophy. The goal wasn't maximum excitement, the goal was long-term wellness. And nowhere is long-term wellness more visible than on the outside of the body, your skin. Because what happens inside often shows up outside,
And that's exactly where we're headed next. Have you ever noticed how vibrant, truly healthy people often look? Not necessarily younger, just healthier. Their skin seems brighter.
Their eyes seem clearer. Their overall appearance reflects something happening internally. Skin is the body's largest organ, and it constantly responds to lifestyle choices: hydration, sleep, stress, nutrition. Daikon contains vitamin C and water, both important components of a healthy lifestyle that supports skin health. Of course, no vegetable can erase wrinkles overnight, but that's not the point. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is supporting your body from within. And when healthy habits accumulate over years, the difference can become noticeable. But here's something many people don't realize. One of Daikon's most overlooked benefits isn't what it contains.
It's what it's made of. Water. A lot of water. And that matters more than most people think.
What if one of the most overlooked health habits had nothing to do with supplements, nothing to do with exercise, and nothing to do with expensive wellness trends? What if it was simply staying hydrated? Every cell in your body depends on water. Your brain, your muscles, your joints, your skin, even your heart. Yet many people spend much of the day slightly dehydrated without realizing it. The symptoms can be subtle: fatigue, brain fog, low energy, dry skin, difficulty concentrating. Because Daikon is made up of roughly 95% water, it naturally contributes to overall hydration when included as a part of a healthy diet.
Think about traditional Japanese meals for a moment. They're often filled with water-rich foods, vegetables, soups, broths, fresh ingredients, instead of relying heavily on processed foods that tend to be more calorie-dense and less hydrating. It's a simple difference. But over decades, simple differences can become powerful. And here's something fascinating. Hydration doesn't just affect how you feel today. It influences how efficiently your body performs thousands of functions every second, including one of the hardest working organs you rarely think about, your liver.
And what Daikon may contribute to overall liver wellness is worth exploring. The word detox gets thrown around a lot these days. Miracle cleanses, juice fasts, extreme programs. But here's the truth. Your body already has a detox system. In fact, it has several. And one of the most important is your liver. Every day, your liver works around the clock, filtering, processing, managing countless substances that move through your body. It's one of the most remarkable organs you'll ever own. And it never asks for applause. Researchers have long been interested in compounds found in cruciferous vegetables, the same family that includes Daikon.
These vegetables contain naturally occurring plant compounds that may support the body's normal detoxification processes. Notice the difference. Not magical detoxification. Support. Your body does the work. Nutritious foods simply help provide the tools. This reflects the philosophy common in traditional Japanese wellness. Rather than forcing the body, support it. Rather than fighting nature, work with it. And that philosophy leads us to another surprising area of health, one that millions of Americans struggle with every night: sleep. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning feeling truly rested, not exhausted, not groggy, not reaching immediately for caffeine, just refreshed.
Sleep affects nearly every aspect of health: mood, memory, energy, immune function, appetite, longevity, everything. Now, Daikon isn't a sleeping pill, and no vegetable can guarantee perfect sleep. But here's where things get interesting. Many traditional Japanese evening meals emphasize lighter, easier to digest foods. Vegetables, broths, fish, simple ingredients. Daikon often appears in these meals, and many people find that lighter dinners leave them feeling more comfortable before bed. Think about your own experience. Have you ever eaten a heavy meal late at night? The discomfort, the restlessness, the tossing and turning.
Now compare that with a lighter, balanced dinner. The difference can be remarkable. Because quality sleep isn't built at bedtime. It's built throughout the day. Through movement, stress management, and the foods you choose. And while sleep helps repair the body, another nutrient category helps build and maintain it, especially as we get older. Let's talk about bone health.
One of the greatest gifts of good health is freedom. The freedom to travel, to play with your grandchildren, to walk where you want, to live independently. And much of that freedom depends on healthy bones. As we age, maintaining bone strength becomes increasingly important. No single food can guarantee strong bones. But nutrient-rich diets that include plenty of vegetables contribute to overall skeletal health. Daikon contains minerals and nutrients that fit naturally into a balanced eating pattern focused on wellness. What's particularly inspiring about Japan is how many older adults remain active. They garden. They walk. They bike. They stay engaged.
And their lifestyle offers an important lesson. Strong bones aren't built in your 70s. They're built over decades. One meal, one walk, one healthy habit at a time. And perhaps that brings us to the biggest question of all. Could Daikon play a small role in the extraordinary longevity that Japan is famous for? The answer may surprise you. Whenever people hear about Japanese longevity, they often ask the wrong question. What's the secret? Elias thought there were a hidden ingredient, a miracle supplement, a magical food. But longevity experts have discovered something fascinating. Long-lived populations rarely depend on one thing.
Instead, they benefit from dozens of healthy habits working together. Daily movement, social connection, purpose, better sleep, stress management, and nutritious foods. Daikon fits beautifully into that picture. Not because it's magic, but because it's consistent. That's the real secret. The foods you eat every day matter far more than the foods you eat occasionally. Think about that. A vegetable consumed regularly for generations. Not because of trends, not because of advertising, because people genuinely enjoy it and value it. And maybe that's one of the greatest lessons hidden within Japanese culture. Health doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it begins with simple choices repeated over a lifetime. But before we finish, let's uncover some surprising myths and mistakes that might prevent people from getting the most out of Daikon. Let's separate fact from fiction. Myth number 1. Daikon has no nutritional value because it's mostly water. Actually, water-rich foods can be incredibly valuable. Hydration itself is essential for health, and Daikon also contains fiber, vitamins, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds. Myth number 2. You have to eat it raw. Not at all. Many Japanese families cook Daikon in soups and stews. Others pickle it. Some grate it. Some roast it. There's no single correct way.
Myth number 3. If a little is good, a lot must be better. That's rarely true in nutrition. Consistency beats excess every time. And here's one mistake many beginners make. They try a healthy food once, then expect dramatic results. Real health doesn't work that way. The habits that change your future are often so small they're easy to overlook, until years later, when those small choices have added up to something extraordinary. Which brings us to our final thought.
and perhaps the most important message of this entire video.
At the beginning of this video, we asked a simple question. Why do Japanese people eat this vegetable almost every day? Now you know the answer isn't really about a vegetable. It's about a way of thinking, a philosophy, a relationship with food that values consistency over shortcuts, patience over quick fixes, and nourishment over hype. Daikon won't make you younger overnight. It won't solve every health problem, and it certainly isn't magic. But maybe that's exactly why its story matters. Because real health rarely comes from dramatic solutions. It comes from ordinary actions repeated consistently. The walk you take after dinner, the vegetables you add to your plate,
The extra hour of sleep. The stress you learn to let go. The simple choices that seem insignificant today, but shape who you become tomorrow. Somewhere in Japan tonight, a family is sitting down for dinner. A bowl of soup is steaming gently on the table. Fresh vegetables are being shared. Conversations are unfolding. Life is happening. And among those foods may be a humble Daikon radish. Not celebrated. Not advertised. Not treated like a miracle. Just quietly doing what it has done for generations. Supporting a lifestyle built around balance. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. Health isn't something you find. It's something you build. One meal,
one day, one choice at a time. So the next time you see a Daikon radish in your local grocery store, maybe you'll see more than a simple white root. Maybe you'll see a reminder that longevity isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. And sometimes, the smallest habits create the biggest changes. If you enjoyed this journey into one of Japan's most fascinating foods, leave a comment below and tell us. Would you try Daikon after watching this video? And if you've already tried it, share your favorite way to eat it. Thank you for spending this time with us. Stay curious, stay healthy, and remember,
Your future health is being built by the choices you make today. See you in the next video.